Hi everyone, let's solve another kinematics projectile problem. A ball rolls from a 2-meter high table at 2 meters per second velocity. How far from the base of the table the ball will land? Let's try to make a diagram to our understanding, and that would be should always be the case whenever you solve these kind of questions. So if I were to say make a diagram with a coordinate plane, somewhere here the table is there, which is 2-meter high, and a ball rolls goes this way, and at 2 meter per second velocity it leaves the table. Question is asking how far from the base of the table the ball will land. Now the ball will not keep going straight because the gravity is going to be pulling it down, which means the ball will take a path like something like this, and we have to find the distance d. Let's try to put whatever we know into mathematics variables. That way we can solve this question. So as we know, this is a two-dimension motion. So we will have both variables in both x and y direction. So let's start creating a table in the x direction and in the y direction. In the x direction, what is my initial location? So my initial location is, if I'm using this as a coordinate system, this is like 0 and 0. So my initial location is 0. What is my y initial location? Well, the ball is falling from a table which is 2 meters high. So initial y location is 2 meters. What is the final x location? That's what we want to find, this d. Final y location, in this reference frame, the ball is falling to the ground, and ground is 0, at 0 meters high. So this is 0 meters. What is my initial x velocity? We know that it's 2 meters per second. What is my initial y velocity? Since the ball is only having horizontal velocity, the vertical component of the velocity is 0. Okay. What is my final horizontal velocity? Do I know? Yes. In the projectile motion, most of the AP Physics 1, in the projectile motion, you can assume that the air resistance is negligible, and that because of that, the horizontal component of the velocity will never change. So even in this case, my final x velocity will still be 2 meters per second. What is my final y velocity? We don't know, and we may not even need it. We'll see. What is the time? This time is the time the ball leaves the table and hits the ground. So it's the time taken by the ball or time in the air. We don't know. But this time will be same in both x and y direction, and which is what we will use to solve this problem. And finally, what is the acceleration in x direction? As we already established that there is no air resistance and the velocity in the y x direction is not changing. So the acceleration in x direction is 0 meter per second square. What is my acceleration in y direction? Well, what is pulling it down? Gravity. So the acceleration in y direction is same as gravity, but negative 9.8 meter per second square. Why negative? Whenever we are solving any kinematics problems, we try to designate directions. So in my case, mostly, let's just do upward as positive and going right as positive. Since the ball is going down and gravity is pulling it downwards, g is downwards, that's why this is a negative sign here. Okay, so we have y0, and acceleration, these three unknown variables. So which equation can we use? Let's try to write the equation. In the y direction, the equation we will use is y equals to y0, initial y location, plus initial y velocity times t, plus 1/2 a t square. Okay, let's start plugging in the values. So final y location is 0, initial y location is 2, plus initial y velocity is 0, plus 1/2, the acceleration in y direction negative, and t square. Move this on the other side, and we'll get 1/2 9.8 t square equals to 2. We can cross out and this will become 4.9, which implies t square equals to 2 over 4.9, which means t is equal to square root of 2 over 4.9. Let's calculate this in our calculator and we get 0.64 seconds. Sometimes the question asks this, sometimes they don't. In this question they are not asking, but we calculate it anyways because we will be using this information to calculate the horizontal displacement. So what is the 0.64 seconds? This is the time in which the ball will be in the air. So how can we use this to find horizontal displacement? Well, we know that horizontal velocity is constant, right? So what is displacement? Equals to velocity times the time taken. So in the horizontal direction, the velocity is 2 meters per second and the time taken is 0.64 seconds. That gives us 1.28 meters. So this is the displacement, which means the ball, or this is the horizontal displacement, which means the ball will land 1.28 meters from the base of the table on the ground. So that is what the question is asking, and this is the answer. Thanks. Let's go and solve next problem.